The sun rises over the Himalayas, casting a golden glow on snow-capped peaks. A symphony of birdsong fills the air in a lush Amazonian rainforest. Children's laughter echoes across a bustling market square in Marrakesh. The world is a tapestry woven with threads of breathtaking beauty, vibrant cultures, and the indomitable spirit of humanity. From the icy plains of Antarctica to the heart of the Sahara Desert, life finds a way to flourish. The resilience of nature inspires hope, reminding us of the inherent beauty that surrounds us. Each sunrise is a promise of a new day filled with possibilities for peace, understanding, and shared humanity. These moments of joy and connection remind us of what truly matters. They fuel our desire for a world where violence is not the norm, but a tragic anomaly. A world where every child can grow up free from fear, where differences are celebrated, and where peace reigns supreme. Yet a dark shadow stretches across our planet, threatening to extinguish the light of hope. Violence, in its many forms, casts a pall over our collective humanity. It leaves scars that run deep, fracturing communities, shattering lives, and leaving an indelible mark on the human psyche. War, with its brutal efficiency, transforms once vibrant cities into rubble-strewn wastelands. Terrorism sows seeds of fear and distrust, turning ordinary citizens into targets. Domestic violence, a hidden epidemic, shatters the sanctity of homes, leaving victims trapped in cycles of abuse. Gang violence claims the lives of young people, their potential extinguished before it can be fully realized. Human rights abuses strip individuals of their dignity and freedom, leaving them vulnerable to exploitation and oppression. These acts of violence, though different in their manifestations, share a common denominator: a blatant disregard for human life and dignity. War, often fueled by greed, political ambition, or ideological clashes, unleashes a torrent of destruction. It forces families to flee their homes, seeking refuge in overcrowded camps or foreign lands. The lucky ones escape with their lives, but the trauma of war leaves invisible scars that can linger for generations. Terrorism, a tactic employed by extremist groups, aims to instill fear and disrupt society. It targets civilians indiscriminately, turning everyday places like markets, schools, and places of worship into scenes of carnage. The psychological impact of terrorism is profound, eroding trust, fueling paranoia, and creating a climate of fear. The human cost of war and terrorism is immeasurable. Millions have perished in conflicts around the world, leaving behind grieving families and shattered communities. The loss of life is only one facet of the tragedy. War also destroys infrastructure, disrupts economies, and diverts resources away from essential services like healthcare and education.
The true cost of war and terrorism is seen in the faces of those who survive, forever changed by the horrors they have witnessed. Their stories are a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, but also a stark reminder of the urgent need for peace.
While war and terrorism dominate headlines, other forms of violence simmer beneath the surface of societies worldwide. Domestic violence, often perpetrated behind closed doors, affects millions, primarily women and children. It thrives on power imbalances and cycles of abuse that can span generations. Gang violence plagues many urban areas, trapping young people in a cycle of poverty, crime, and violence. Often born out of social and economic inequalities, gangs offer a sense of belonging and protection, but at a terrible cost. The lure of easy money, power, and respect often proves irresistible to youth who see few other options.
I know the pain of domestic violence firsthand. It took years to break free from the cycle of abuse, but now I work to help others find their strength and their voice. No one should have to endure such suffering.
Human rights abuses, ranging from discrimination to torture and slavery, are a stain on our collective conscience. They strip individuals of their fundamental rights, leaving them vulnerable to exploitation and abuse. From the Rohingya Muslims fleeing persecution in Myanmar to the victims of human trafficking trapped in modern-day slavery, the violation of human rights is a global crisis.
The scars of violence are etched across the globe, from the battle-scarred landscapes of the Middle East to the gang-ridden neighborhoods of Central America.
In Afghanistan, decades of war have left the country in ruins, its people struggling to rebuild their lives amidst ongoing conflict and instability. The Syrian civil war, now in its second decade, has displaced millions, creating a humanitarian crisis of unprecedented proportions.
The images of children pulled from the rubble of bombed-out buildings serve as a stark reminder of the human cost of this conflict.
In Mexico, drug cartel violence has claimed tens of thousands of lives, leaving communities living in fear. The cartels, with their vast wealth and firepower, operate with impunity, corrupting government officials and terrorizing citizens.
These are just a few examples of the countless places around the world where violence has become a tragic part of daily
power at any cost.
Despite the bleak realities of a world grappling with violence, there is hope. Across the globe, individuals and organizations are working tirelessly to promote peace, seek justice for victims, and build a better future.
Their stories offer a beacon of light, reminding us that even in the darkest of times, the human spirit can prevail.
Malala Yousafzai, a young Pakistani activist, defied the Taliban by advocating for girls' education. Shot in the head by a Taliban gunman, she survived and continued her fight, becoming a global icon for peace and education.
The White Helmets, a volunteer organization in Syria, risk their lives daily to rescue civilians trapped in the rubble of bombed-out buildings. Their courage and compassion in the face of unimaginable suffering are a testament to the power of the human spirit.
Education is one of the most powerful weapons we have in the fight against violence. It has the transformative power to break down stereotypes, foster critical thinking, and promote tolerance and understanding.
By providing children with quality education, we empower them to become agents of change, capable of building a more peaceful and just world. Organizations like UNICEF and UNESCO are working to provide education to children in conflict zones and disadvantaged communities around the world. They understand that education is not just about acquiring knowledge, but about nurturing empathy, critical thinking, and a sense of shared humanity.
Investing in education is an investment in peace. By equipping future generations with the knowledge, skills, and values they need to thrive, we can create a world where violence is not seen as an acceptable solution to conflict.
Building a more peaceful world requires us to move beyond fear, anger, and the desire for revenge. It demands that we embrace dialogue, even with those we disagree with, and seek common ground.
Forgiveness, though difficult, is essential to breaking the cycle of violence and creating a more just and equitable society. Nelson Mandela, after spending 27 years in prison for his activism against apartheid in South Africa, emerged to lead his country to a peaceful transition to democracy. His message of forgiveness and reconciliation served as an inspiration to the world, demonstrating the transformative power of these virtues.
Through dialogue and forgiveness, we can begin to heal the wounds of the past and build bridges of understanding between individuals, communities, and nations. This is not an easy path, but it is the only path that leads to lasting peace. The journey towards a world free from violence is long and arduous, but it is a journey we must undertake together. Let us draw inspiration from the words of Mahatma Gandhi. Be the change you wish to see in the world. Let us be the generation that chooses peace over conflict, love over hate, and understanding over ignorance. Let us work tirelessly to create a world where every child can grow up free from fear, where differences are celebrated, and where the light of hope shines brightly for all. The future is not preordained. It is a canvas upon which we, through our choices and actions, paint the world we want to see. Let us choose to paint a future filled with hope, peace, and the enduring spirit of humanity.